One of the ways that things have changed in sales and marketing is how companies don't want to be sold to. They don't want to meet a salesperson through a cold call, reaching out to them online in LinkedIn, or stopping by the office to drop off brochures. They'd much rather find you online through research. And a couple reasons why that is. Number one, the internet has just changed so much of what we do on a daily basis. If you're a purchasing manager or an engineer, chances are you're going to work and you're sitting in front of a computer all day. It's just the go-to resource that we've come to accept as buyers and people in white collar manufacturing roles. So going back, they don't really care if a salesperson calls them. Very likely, it's not very likely that a cold call leads to something on the first dial. You know, unless the engineer is happening to look for that stuff right now during that time, a cold call is not going to be very relevant. And I think that companies hold on to the idea that a good salesperson is just very personable and they'll just get in and make a terrific impact on somebody. It's just not the case. It's much better nowadays to just position yourself online in a way that means you can reach audiences and be found. And a couple strategies to that, you know, a good website is foundational. You have to have a good website that captures as much information about yourself as you can. A lot of places fall short on that, and I think by having a dynamic web page that you can easily upload content to, it's something that can be implemented over time as capabilities improve, as case studies roll out. Updating your website should be a frequent thing. You should be updating once a month, once a quarter, something like that, just adding more information about yourself. And companies that just build a website, forget about it, they lose out so much on just the interplays of the Google algorithms and how they work in selecting sites to visit for searches. And if you're not dynamically adding content, linking it to social media, drawing those backlinks from one site to another, you're going to lose out in those algorithms over time, right? So you might design a site and in year one it's on the top page or two of Google, but after 3, 4, 5 years of never touching your content again, you're going to be diminished to very low on those search results. You know, another good point to bring in with that is just the content and the shareability that you can put it out there with. If you have a blog, you know, some generic blogs aren't that interesting, but if you make a blog that is specific to your capabilities and specific to your company, and you find an audience, you know, usually through social media, that can engage with that content, you're more likely to just generate a good shareable piece of content that can reach an audience. And, you know, not just when you initially publish it, but over time, as visitors to your site or visitors to your social media page come across that content, you know, something that you wrote a year ago can be relevant for somebody that is searching today. And the more content you produce, the more specific answers to questions you can get out ahead of time and produce. Just helps people that are researching companies and researching potential suppliers. I think that manufacturing in general is behind the times when it comes to digital marketing. I think a lot of people think that what they do is not interesting, or has a good enough audience to engage with. But I think they miss out on the point that, number one, the first place we go to is the internet. Whenever we need something, we go out and find it. And number two, it's just that if you're forgetting to put yourself out there, you're not drawing any interest to you at all. And by putting yourself out there on social media, by putting out their blogs and videos and YouTube channels, you allow viewers to learn a little bit about you, to learn about what you do and the people that you are, and the services that you can provide. And that strategy, paired with some good sales and marketing techniques today, is just the way to do it. It's not so much about cold calling and hitting your numbers as much as it is just providing relevant content often and drawing people in. Yes, you can use paid search and search ads, and that there's definitely a place for that. It's needed, but it starts by just putting out information and making that information readily available to people researching you online. And I can help companies do that. I can help manufacturers that haven't really embraced that yet get started. And I can do it very affordably. It doesn't cost a lot to do this stuff nowadays. Videos on your phone, blogs can be, written fairly quickly. And it becomes part of your daily or monthly routine to publish content and get that out there for people to find. And manufacturers that are embracing that are finding success. Doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen over time. And places that aren't embracing that are sticking to traditional methods of outreach, are falling behind. And it's just a matter of getting with the times and getting on with what's working nowadays.